I thought about this video the other day, and it's like this will be a fun little video to go back to the past and also now. Video game manuals then and now. I'm Auckland. If you enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button, like button also, share with friends if you don't mind. Also, please comment, ask me a question, or comment in general. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, if you don't mind, hit the notification bell down below, and you will be notified when I go live or upload another video. If you want to become a fan of me, Auckland, then subscribe to the channel, and you will become a fan. I hope so. Video game manuals. What in the world is that, Auckland? Of course I'm joking, but also there are maybe some people out there that don't even know what a manual is, because nowadays we hardly even get to see manuals or even get them. Very rarely nowadays we'll get a manual. Depends on the company, if the company wants to make that, like a company like Limited Run Games, even though they get hate and stuff, but still they put manuals in their games. Companies like Strictly Limited, several other ones out there as well. I mean, there's several companies out there that makes physical games and put manuals in them. Now, sadly, I don't have no manuals for PS4 and PS5 and NES and Game Boy and Super Nintendo and N64 because I don't have any right now, sadly. That's why. But some companies out there, like I said earlier. Alright, let's get to it now. That's enough time. Alright, so we're going to go back into the past with the Sega Genesis first. Now, this is what you call a manual, people. I'm just playing. So you get advertisements for other games on the back. That's for World of Illusion, which is the sequel to Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. As the sequel with Donald Duck. And of course it's black and white on the inside and stuff, but the cover art is in color. You got pictures, you got written words about what the game is about and how to play the game and the buttons and stuff and all that good stuff. It's all in here. Descriptions of the enemies that you fight in the game, and levels and bosses. A good old manual. Plus you can sit down and read it if you want to. You have that choice. You can flip through it and read about the game before you play it. And also, some Genesis games, now I know the Bubsy series gets hate, but it's fantastic side scroller, and I know it's changed over the years, but anywho. But I like Bubsy. Now what's cool about this one is it's practically full color throughout the entire manual. It's like, wow, what happened to Sonic the Hedgehog 2, people? Why wasn't it in full color? I don't know. I guess they didn't want to do it. But some manuals come with a comic book on the inside. It's like, it could be like a prequel story or a backstory. Same thing, I guess. So you get a little bit of a comic book before you can play the game if you're interested in reading that. That's really, really cool. And then sometimes they really cheap out. They go black and white all the way. Advertisements, front cover, everything black and white all the way. But this right here is a good game, Sonic and Knuckles. Fantastic game. The first game of my knowledge only on the Sega Genesis that's able to have built-in DLC. Is that, what do you mean by that? It actually has the power of cartridge stacking. You can take this cartridge, flip the top open, and stack another cartridge on top of it that's compatible with it, like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and it adds DLC to the game with the cartridges stacked on top of each other. It was pretty cool. I still do it now, every once in a while. Now moving on to the PlayStation 1, the original PlayStation, of course, I got here the Final Fantasy VII, way back before it got remade. And what's interesting is, I think this remake, ain't it supposed to be made into 3 parts? Well, I went back and looked at this game. There's 3 discs of this game, and then the remake is going to supposedly have 3 parts, 3 discs of the original, 3 parts for the remake. It's kind of interesting. I never really thought about that until just recently. But yeah, so this has got color in it. Manuals. Oh, they're so good. And then it's also some PlayStation games out there. You know, you get like the greatest hits. So you got the green on the side. This is for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. And it's black and white, of course, on the inside. I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. And of course, I got the Dreamcast. It is a failed Sega console, but a lot of people love the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast had a lot of good games on it. I would like to get some of them someday, hopefully. But this is, of course, of Power Stone 2. I wouldn't mind having the original Power Stone to go along with it. It's a interesting fighting game. And also, some of the manuals come with advertisements for games and stuff. This is like an advertisement to register online, but you got Sonic from Sonic Adventure on the side right there. Sonic Adventure is a good game on the Genesis. Now on the PS2, this is the manual for God of War 2. And you of course is advertising God of War 2. God of War 1 and it's advertising God of War 2 on the back. Excuse me. And you got fantastic artwork, the drawings. It's really great stuff. And they did like the art design of the manual on the inside, like it's old looking parchment paper, like it's Greek mythology like. They really put a lot of thought into it. It's just fantastic. And of course, another great series, which I wish it would come back someday, Sly Cooper, and they did the design of the manual, like the in-game, there's a book inside the game itself that you collect the pages and stuff for, and this is practically the book design from the game itself, and then they went with that design for the manual. I mean, it's so good. I mean, man, manuals, amazing. Of course, you got the Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm not sure. Now, this is not your ordinary manual for PS2. You got a little bit of a manual right there, but then it folds out, and you have a map, and you keep folding it out, and you got some advertisements here for Sly Cooper, and of course, advertisement for the guidebook for Jak and Daxter, and you keep folding it out, and then you got yourself a poster right there. Look at that, a poster within a manual, sort of, with advertisements all in one. That's really cool. And then moving on to the PS3, and I got some Xbox love in here too, so don't worry about that. Xbox gamers, I'm into Xbox as well, not just PlayStation and Nintendo stuff. So yeah, this is the PS3 manual. They're advertising God of War comic books and guidebooks and stuff, and of course the controller that you can get. I mean, miss this stuff. It's really fantastic. See? Xbox love. Psychonauts, the original for the OG Xbox, and there's a game being advertised. And this one's in full color. Oh, so good. Awesome. And then on to the Xbox 360. This is for Dead Space. Now the on the inside is black and white. It is kind of thin. That really sucks. It is thin, but it's still a manual. Came with an advertisement for the Dead Space anime or anime movie or something, but it came with an advertisement. Now for the GameCube. This is for Zelda Collector's Edition, which comes with 4 Zelda games on one disc. Pretty cool. So good. Of course, you got the Master Sword right there. Good stuff. And of course, I got some handheld stuff as well. I got a Game Boy Advance manual right here. This one is very small. It's black and white on the inside. It's really tiny, but it's a manual. And of course, we got the Nintendo DS. Now this is the manual right here, but then you get all these advertisements. You got the DS instruction booklet. You got some more DS health and safety stuff, advertisements for a Pokemon game, and a register code thing for your game, I guess. But the manual itself, parts of it is in black and white, and parts of it is in color. But it's a good manual. It's really, really good. Good stuff. And then, of course, the 3DS. They're kind of cheaping out a little bit. It's really, real thin. Could be better, but yeah, it's decent, but it's still a manual, though. Got a little bit of color in here. So yeah, that's a good game, actually, guys. Epic Mickey Power of Illusion. It's a really good game. And also Wii. This is a manual. This thing is thick. Yeah. I know it. A lot of people make a lot of jokes when people say thick. But we ain't going there. This is a... We're talking about video game stuff. Okay. Alright. But yeah, this is great. Of course, this manual is made up of different languages, English, Espanol, and whatever else is in here. So that's why it makes it so bulky for. But that's a thick manual. And then you got the Wii U. They really, really cheaped out with this one. I mean, it's just one sheet of paper that you just fold out. And then you fold it right back up, and then there's your manual. It's like, wow, that really, really was something else. No, not really. And now, on to the more modern stuff, because sadly the Xbox Series X, the Xbox One, they don't have any manuals unless, you know, certain companies want to put manuals in there for like the limited run type companies. So I don't have any manuals for them. PS4, PS5, all that stuff like I mentioned before. But for the Switch, this is a manual right here of River City Girls for Switch, of course. And do you remember the comic book instruction manual that I had for the Genesis at the beginning of the video? All this is in color, which is fantastic. We're going back to the days of the comic book. It's in here. It's in black and white. But the comic book's there, so that's awesome. So they went back to that. And now this one is for ukulele. For Switch, of course. Now this one is... Sadly, I don't have an N64 manual to compare with this one. But I used to have manuals for N64 games back in the past. I don't have them anymore. But this manual right here is practically the same design of an N64 manual. Which actually makes sense because this game is made and inspired by Banjo-Kazooie. And this manual's kind of very similar to it from my memory of that manual. But yeah, so it's a manual for Switch. And then all other companies like Special Reserve Games, they have their own version of a manual. Technically this is not a manual, but it kind of sort of still is. They label it as an instruction booklet. This is for Death's Door. This is the Special Reserve version, as I said, because the retail copy of this game does not have a manual. But if you get this version, then you actually get this to come with it. Now this is not your typical manual, you know. It's a little bit different, but you still get something for the game. So that's really, really cool. But so yeah, so I thought this would be a very fun video. Man, look at all of this. Wow, I tell you, that something else. And I got more where that comes from my retro games and all that stuff. I got a lot more. But yeah, that's so awesome. I really wish that they would go back to the days of the manuals and put manuals in every single game like they used to back in those days. And it's so sad those days are gone. We barely even rarely see manuals, if not at all now. And they don't even stick a advertisement in a case anymore, because like some of these Switch games, if I could pull one out right quick, it's like, well, it's like a code advertisement in here. That's pretty much it. But look, it's practically empty except for that. And of course, this is for that game, Nola. I have a hard time pronouncing that, but you know, see what I'm saying? It's just, it's empty, and it's like, now if you want to talk about something else that's related to the Switch, just because this is the Shantae limited run game for Switch. They actually took the design of a Game Boy Advance style manual, which is very cool that they actually did that. See if I can go back and find it right quick, just because why not? Say, it's the Game Boy Advance manual, and here's the Shantae. See how similar they are? That's cool that they actually did that. Very, very cool stuff. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know down in the comments. Do you miss manuals? Do you wish they would come back? You just don't care? I would just love to know down in the comments. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know. I thought it was fun. Alright, thank you so much. Alright, bye.